Hey guys,
Hey, what's going on? People are starting to show up now. Give people a couple minutes to show up. Continue on. Mr. Sigmund.
Okay, guys.
There he is.
Looks like we got some people.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Hi, Ben. Where in the world are you today?
I'm in LA.
Nice.
LA reporting in. So, well, let's get this thing going because, people are going to roll in as they roll in, but at least we can get started.
And we are recording, so we'll publish this as soon as the call's over.
Okay, so, Robert, feel free to.
Yeah, so let's kick off. Congratulations. We now have governance documents, and as part of the governance adoption that happened, was that last week? I think it was last week. We also minted the initial contribution, the opening contribution to the DAO. So the DAO now has over 100 million tokens in it, Libre tokens in it. Congratulations, everybody. Let's see, from a code working group perspective, there was a conversation in the last month's call about deploying the Aloha benchmark contracts. I don't see Xavier on the call, so I'm not really sure what the update on that is right now. There was also some conversation around code updates for the block producer production records contract to bring it over from Telos. I thought that was something from that Good Blocks was looking at, but they're not on the call, so I don't know. I guess we'll skip over that for now. Ben, do you want to talk about the DAO working group? Or specifically
DAO,
the status of the DAO?
So basically, the DAO is working. We fixed a little bug this week where the cron update script was not counting all the votes, check votes correctly, and that's working now. The next thing to do for the DAO is test on testnet a new version of the code with very simple changes that allows you to, when you make a proposal, send Bitcoin or Tether with a memo or Libre with a memo. So Why are we doing that? Well, I'll tell you why. Right now, the DAO only has Libre, but conceivably the DAO can also hold any other token on Libre and will. And in the case that we get someone who wants to buy Libre at a market discount, they could potentially buy those from the DAO. And we could work out some kind of lockup agreement with them. It's one of the ideas we had. But also the DAO could decide to sell some of its Libre by sending it to making a proposal that sends Libre to the swap with the correct memo, and it would receive Bitcoin in exchange, for example. So it opens up a lot more possibilities for the DAO. It can hold those tokens, but currently it can't send them. It can only send through proposals. So this new code update, which we'll test on testnet first, we're just getting some final things cleaned up on it. We'll just enable the ability to specify the token you want to send to an account in a proposal and allow you to enter a memo. So that's it for that. Any questions about the DAO? I want to clarify one thing about the DAO, which is that every proposal that gets passed, which means it gets 10% of the total voting power and receives a majority of votes in favor. If it doesn't get that, then it doesn't pass. But if it does pass, it still has to be executed by the validators. So that is a very good feature, at least for now, where the validators have a veto power if they choose not to execute a proposal. The downside is that it's another multi-sig for us to do and keep track of, and we'll go over the pending multi-sigs later, but just to make sure everyone knows where those are. So that's what's up with the DAO. DAO is doing well. I'm excited we have funding in there now. Okay, so next up,
and this.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I understand it will work as a basic DAO. People put proposals in, and it can be proposals for buying Bitcoin with Libre or anything when it's ready, and we approve it. I think that 10% right now it's really okay because basically you have a few institutions that have that control like this 10%. It's you don't have to get a lot of people on a call to do that, and I think that it should be that. The only observation is as it scales, this could potentially need to be changed, right? In order to not make it ungovernable. Because you don't have.
You know what, Robert? Can you bring up the DAO page and can we take a look at the dashboard DAO? Go back and let's look at the leaderboard. Scroll down and there's at the bottom, there's a link to the leaderboard. No, go up a little more. You should, or go down to the bottom. You can view the entire thing. Sorry, yeah, view leaderboard. So as you can see here, there's not even one account in total that has a 10% stake. But even if there was and someone were able to pass something that the validators didn't agree with, well, the validators could choose not to approve it. And because we have one token, one vote, or one voting power, one vote, you can't even vote in a bunch of validators to push something through right now. So, as you can see, most people have 1% if they have any voting power. There's not that many accounts that have voting power though in total. There's maybe like, I don't know, a couple hundred. So
yeah,
it's still very early.
Yeah, no, my concern would be the opposite, but it's not a concern right now because it's good that we have like this kind of, it's not centralized, but it's more concentrated than like on NEOS, it would be impossible to get the 10% threshold, but it's just a heads up, not for now.
One thing I will say is that, when I look at the things that we're discussing in here, it's very technical. and there's nothing in here about really promotion. And with the DAO funds that we have, I'm hoping to see some proposals to do some kind of promotional stuff. Sorry, guys, I have some background noise. But Jesse from the EBs reached out about doing a proposal, but he never created one. Some other organization wanted to do marketing. I pointed them to the DAO, and they haven't submitted anything. But it'd be very good for anyone who has ideas to step up, because we're kind of at a place now where we really need to be thinking about the bear market. Seems like it's over to me. Bitcoin is up over 80% year to date. And, I think that any day now it could be just taking off. And, Bitcoin has a lot of problems. The ordinals are just the latest problem that Bitcoin has. So I was just on the phone with Craig Sellers, the creator of Tether, earlier today, like an hour ago. And we were talking about what to do with the Bitcoin Foundation and how to move forward the Bitcoin Foundation, and whether Bitcoin Foundation should come out and say anything about ordinals, etc. And it turns out most of the Bitcoin core devs are strongly against ordinal transcriptions or inscriptions because of the misuse of the block space. It almost feels like an attack on Bitcoin. And so, it's a really good opportunity to promote Libre. And I think what Libre is doing with ordinals now is really smart, because we're looking at this opportunity of domains on Bitcoin. They do not use a lot of space. It's just a few kilobytes, really, or maybe 100 kilobytes total. And so, it's or 100 bytes total. So it's very small, just to add some text to Bitcoin. And those texts can be used as authoritative records to essentially create a name system that can exist on Bitcoin. And so I've been thinking through different ways and working with some other people on ways to sort of formalize a standard for updating DNS records on Bitcoin, which essentially is the way the web works now. I'm sure most of you know, because you're technical, is that we have content. That content is hosted on servers, and you point servers via name, which gets resolved to an IP address, right? And then there's a bunch of pros and cons to the system that we have now, but the Bitcoin system is very different, very interesting. And how those records get created and updated, and who owns them and who controls them, is also very interesting. And so, so I have some information I put together on that, and I also have a temporary page up where you can search these things on more than one API that exists. So I'm really working on building legitimacy right now for this Bitcoin domains idea. And we put up a website at ordcheap.com where you can go and register them it's 9,000 sats now. It's like $2. And I definitely recommend that everyone try it out. Register a few names, grab some names, put them in the marketplace. You can list them for sale on OrdCheap now. And the names will get created on Bitcoin. They're going to be stored in a sort of Libre vault for now. That's just a single sig wallet, but we're looking to obviously get that more of a multi-sig situation soon. But Robert, if you pop open OrdCheap, you can make sure everyone's seen it. But I really recommend everyone go on here, get your name before someone else does, and pick some names that you think you could sell. Ordcheap.com. No, it won't work like that. I don't think it'll work in a Google search at all. We haven't done any optimization on this. It's still very beta. Hey, you could search a name here, type in a name and it will show you if it's available or not. Did you already get crypto blocks? Yeah. CryptoBlocks.sats. Yeah, so someone's already registered it.
Yeah, I did.
Good. It's still kind of beta. Sometimes it says inscription 0. Um,
Oh yeah, that's not right.
but try something else, Robert. Like try searching, crypto XXX or something. You don't have to type .sats even.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There you go. Crypto triple X you could buy right now for $2.55. And then once you buy it, it'll show up in your wallet, and then you can transfer it to any Taproot address. All of that's working. And so we also built a plugin that will help you make these clickable when they're a link and redirect to sats.site. So you can look up these things, look up any ordinal on its name.sats.site, and that works now. And if you own it on Libre and you have it in your Libre account, you can edit it and add content, and that content's stored on Libre, so you can get these really simple websites going. I post about it in mainnet, but it's going to be an amazing demo in another week or two when we really get that working with templates. And we think this could really light a fire for Libre. And so in addition to making the stuff really work on Libre, I'm working on building legitimacy, like I was talking about, like really come up with this concept of Bitcoin name association, looking at maybe doing it through the Bitcoin Foundation even, which I have some inroads to. And putting up something on the Bitcoin Foundation website that would talk about what's happening with ordinals, inscriptions, and talk about the domain names, for example, and ways to use them responsibly, maybe to push forward and advertise a standard. So, yeah.
There you go. There's one that's on the.
There's one on Bitcoin. There you go. But go to cryptoblocks.sats.site. This is going to be great for everyone to see. So, yeah. So this is going to render data. Now this one's blank, but if you go to change this page there, now you can log in with Anchor, and you can actually add some Markdown content to this now. Now I don't think Markdown is what we're going to go with eventually, but it's kind of a proof of concept that you can enter content here, click save, it's stored in a Libre smart contract, and then when you go to sats.site, wow, was that Chinese? It's crazy.
Just hit H1 and that's what pops
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah. Yeah, you can. No, that save button doesn't work. Scroll down. Like I said, this is beta, but you guys will get the concept here. Now go to take off the manage / whatever. There you go. And you got some data. You got some content. Something very easy, but what we're looking at doing is making it so you can create your own little personal website very easily. I posted some examples of that in Telegram. So that's what we've been working on, in addition to just other fixes, improvements. One big update is that we got the swap back on iOS after fighting with Apple for a little while. Fought with Apple for about a month, and we're able to get the swap back now in the Bitcoin Libre iOS app. So that's also very good.
What was the final fix on that?
They just needed to be convinced, just getting them documentation and stuff.
I got it. Cool.
And Merchant is live, and then sats.site is working for rendering. That's cool. I want everyone to go and try getting a domain though, and putting some content on there, just so you guys get familiar with what we're doing, and you can start talking about it when we're ready with the final version. Or get more involved if you want to. If you want to get more involved, let me know.
Yeah, cool.
Moving on.
Hi, Ben.
Hi. What's up?
I try buying a domain on our cheap.
Yeah.
It seems to have worked because when I search for real blocks now, it says that it's already taken, but it's not appearing on the wallet. So I don't know if this is
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it should
still
show
to
in
be
your wallet.
tested.
It should show in your wallet on the dashboard. It will show on the Ord Cheap.
On the dashboard as well?
No, only on Ord Cheap wallet for now.
Yes, on the Archeap wallet. Yes, there.
Yeah, no, I see you just created it like, I don't know, 4 minutes ago or something. So
Yeah.
it should be showing in there as pending.
The thing is, it shows when you search for real blocks, it shows inscription 0.
Oh,
No, search on the register, Robert. It will show inscription 0 and then link to the ordinal number 0.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
That's something. There could be a bug there. I mean, they could be
Yeah,
updating the
that's okay.
API right now. You know, like this thing is
It's
still
looking
pretty
nice.
basic.
Yeah.
yeah, we had the same problem when we looked at my domain name.
I think when it gets minted, which should be in a few minutes, it'll you'll be able to edit it and add some content there as well. That's cool though. We get alerts on every single one that's created. We have a lot of monitoring and stuff up on these ordinals. We're working on getting the ability to create the inscriptions on JavaScript, because right now we're using a Rust implementation built by the creator of ordinals, and where we try to keep everything in the same code base language so that we can maintain it more easily. Anyways, hey Fred. So moving on to the native bridge. Native bridge. Yeah, Barnes.
One question. Sorry, man. How much can we talk about this ordcheap.com and everything up to now, like publicly? Like, what is this like something we want to keep quiet? Should we start to talk about it a little bit, maybe in person when in consensus?
Well, I'm gonna post this video in about 45 minutes. So
what's that?
I said I'm gonna post this meeting video in about 45 minutes, so it's not exactly gonna be private.
Nobody watches these videos. You know, and I would say you could 100% talk about it anytime. There's no problem talking about it. It's still very beta. We are planning to come out with all of this at once and do a big push at Bitcoin Miami. That's our current plan, is to get the standard of how to update these things, to get the Chrome plugin and the OrdCheap stuff and the Bitcoin Name Association, or whatever we end up doing with Bitcoin Foundation, all together, and come out with it as one big package, do some press and stuff like that. So that is our current thinking.
Okay, sweet. So that's like in like a month, basically, right? So
yeah,
awesome.
I mean, try it out. If you feel like it's working, it's worth talking about, go for it. But as you can see, there's still bugs. So maybe I would wait until there's no bugs like what Igor just had a problem, right? Fred, what do you think? You're on mute. Muted.
I'd say that we're sort of changing around things. Like, we wiped out the entire secondary marketplace tables. We're sort of still monkeying around with stuff. It's not, the formats are not completely final yet. Having said that, if you register something, you'll own it. It's on Bitcoin. They are ordinals. We keep track of them. It's all solid. I think the thing that's going to change a lot is this marketplace. Everything to do with like Chrome plugins and resolving domains is very, very beta right now. So, hopefully we can get more closure on that in the next week, really, the next 10 days. We didn't even know if we could do some of this stuff 10 days ago.
We thought it was going to take 3 weeks, and it only took us a week. So,
right. So what we didn't know, for example, so one of the things we've learned is what's possible with a Chrome plugin, right? And the answer is you can create these .sats domains and you can resolve them on click. You can't resolve them as entering a .sats domain directly into the address bar. unless you put a backslash there. If you just put, and it's the same with ETH domains, right? So if you put Vitalik.eth into the search bar on Chrome with MetaMask open and installed, you will not get to Vitalik.eth. You will do a search for Vitalik.eth. If you put a backslash, the Chrome plugin can capture that and then redirect it somewhere. So
yeah, I was thinking here, maybe instead of a Chrome plugin, you could write a desktop application that's
well, we could.
listen.
I mean,
for those
basically,
domains.
one of the things we want to do is we really would like to go to Brave, and we'd like to say to Brave, you know, because Brave has a fair amount of installed people, and they have a very good job of handling .eth domains, right? And we'd like to say, hey, big guys, there's this generic standard for Bitcoin that's going to benefit Brave tremendously, because now all of a sudden Brave can resolve these names for Bitcoiners, and they like their own names, and they could have Nostr links and Lightning addresses and Libre addresses and everything else, and they can save them on chain with Bitcoin and have these sort of Bitcoin mini profiles. So I think that will appeal to Brave, as long as it's a consortium of players that really represent Bitcoin that's putting this thing behind. So if it was Libre and Stacks and Ordinal's wallet and RSK and a bunch of other things together, kind of pushing this standard, I think it would have a pretty good shot that Brave would say, okay, you know, Ordinals are a thing. This is the consensus, you know, implementation, the reference implementation of it. It's run by sort of a committee of people, kind of like us, right? Like a group of block producers, and you know, so that's kind of what I would like to do. I think it's important to have the legitimacy of an established application, because people don't want to download new software. I mean, I don't. And I don't really want to download things. Having said that, there's one thing we can do, and we will do, which is to put it inside of Bitcoin Libre. So the Bitcoin Libre mobile app can have a browser in it, and we can intercept it there, right? Just like MetaMask mobile allows you to browse the web and to browse .eth domains on mobile web. And you can just go to MetaMask mobile and type Vitalik.eth, and you'll get to Vitalik's website on mobile. Yeah. So I think
from a security like standpoint, I would prefer running a script on my machine that is open source and it's easy to understand, that redirects any DNS call to the correct address, instead of installing a browser extension that has possibly vulnerable access to other extensions.
Well, we can do both, right? So we
can do both. I'm just saying that maybe the root
the problem for mobile. Most people are on
mobile,
and neither of these are going to solve the big problem, which is you can't install plugins on mobile. You can't run a script.
You could at least on Android, you could do a local VPN on an app.
Yeah.
So maybe if you have Libre installed, you can have an option.
Do that.
You can have an option that allows Libre to redirect .sats.
99.99% of people are not going to do that.
Yeah.
Even if they have an Android. So we really got to think about building for the everyone in a way that's really easy. I mean, I think people install Chrome extensions more readily than they do install a program on their computer. My mom always ends up with like 100 Chrome extensions. My dad too. It's crazy.
The point is that's more dangerous sometimes than a program that has to respect a lot of core isolations, kernel isolations rules that extensions doesn't have to.
I know.
So in terms of security, like
you can look at the extension code. I just put a link here in the chat, and you can install it and see it's just a redirector. But Look, like, I'm happy to continue this conversation. I don't want to take up too much time on this call, but anyone who
No,
wants
yeah,
to form a separate group just to learn more about the ordinal stuff, or you want to talk about it in the mainnet chat, I'm down for anything.
I'm going to reach out to you, Ben. I want to see where we're storing the records for resolving, because I've got some ideas here. I lived through the TLD wars with ICANN in the 90s. Like, we tried to do this. We tried to get beyond .com, net, and org. And there was a whole group of alternative TLD
Alt routes and stuff. Yeah.
DNS servers that are acting as root servers to pass through. So that there's ways to do this at an infrastructure level. Anyway, okay, cool. Let's talk some more about that. I'd like to see where the data is coming from.
Yeah, we can talk more about it. Fred knows a lot about domains.
I was a little bit past that, but I spent 8 years in that world, Robert.
Yeah. Probably have similar battle scars.
Yeah, we can trade war stories later. Let's talk about the bridge.
Yes.
So the bridge is a tentative idea to replace or supplement P network with additional Bitcoin bridging functionality and Tether. I think there's different iterations of what this means, but the main one that I think Robert's talking about here is we've engaged with a Romanian team that was building the Celsius network before Celsius went under. They had a working prototype of a bridging system for a Celsius chain, and they built some other bridges and interesting stuff. They're really cool guys. They really understand the problem. Robert's been engaged with them, building out some documentation, and we've had a couple phone calls. Now, we don't have any time frame. We don't have any budget concept, but I have a goal of getting something like this up that we could be testing out in the next 3 to 6 months initially. And that would involve validators being signers of a multi-sig wallet or many multi-sig wallets potentially, and running Bitcoin nodes, validating transactions, submitting partially signed Bitcoin transactions on Libre, and then picking those up and signing and transmitting them. So that is the idea. We would do this in a way where we would create a different Bitcoin, like BTCL or LBTC, whatever we collectively decide to go with. I think I like BTCL better because it says BTC first, but it would be a Libre custodied Bitcoin. So I think it's very valuable that we keep everyone updated on the progress there. Maybe Robert can share the documentation that's existing so far so it can be reviewed. I think we're at a point where we're still just talking. Nothing's being built yet. So it's a good time there will be a good point to get feedback and stuff. So I kind of will let Robert decide when that's going to happen. So if anyone's interested in seeing that documentation, providing feedback, ping Robert now. Let him know.
Or after, just send me a Telegram message.
Telegram.
There's also a Telegram chat for Libre Bridge, and there's a lot of conversation happening right now. Not all of it is on the same page. There's a lot of ideas being thrown around, and I think there's going to be there's definitely going to be a lot of work to find the right solution here and the quick solution, right? Because it's not going to be 100% in state the first release. So we'll definitely include whoever wants to include. Anything else on that?
Nope.
Okay. Multi-sig madness. Is Lisa on the call?
No.
No. Okay.
We can-
There are 4 multi-sigs that are out there right now. It appears to me like 3 of them are redundant and can be removed. So he's got one multi-sig out there that is 12 of 15 signed, but we've already approved the proposal. So this one should probably be removed. This one has passed but has not been executed. This one does need to be signed. We're currently 12 of 15. So
Let's go through the ones that we need to sign and execute and see if we can get everyone on it right now.
Sure. So I think Acceptus Edenia is the one that needs to be signed and executed right now. I'll drop that in the chat. There's the first one. That's for this proposal.
The last 2 ones, it was the testing ones. I removed already.
Oh, you did? Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about those. The January one looks like it's been completed, but there's still an MSEG sitting out there that needs that apparently needs to be signed. Maybe they're redundant ones that were put out there, so we need to make sure that we.
Are they all called Accept Edenia? It's really confusing.
They're similar. So the first one is APPR funding, but that's for the release of the DAO funds. That's already been completed, but this one's still sitting out there. The second one is Accept Edenia. This one, 1, 2, has passed but needs to be signed. That's the one I just put in the chat. The next one is January, but this one's already been completed. So I don't think this one needs to be signed. In fact, it's 15 of, and it hasn't been executed because I think this has already been executed. So this looks redundant. And then the final one in this batch is Payadenia. And this one is related to
January?
This one's already been completed as well. So it looks like most of them have been completed except for the ones in chat here.
Okay, so I only see one in the chat here.
There's only one in the chat here. That's the only one that looks like it's valid. The rest are redundant to other.
Well, what about the other ones that we have pending, like for system update?
Okay, that's next on the list here.
Okay.
So this one is ready to go. Do you want to cover why we're redoing this one?
Well, yeah, it didn't work. So there was something wrong with the, I don't know, the WASM or something in the first one.
Okay. So this one's pending. This one can be signed by producers. Second in chat.
Thank you. That's great. Apparently, multisig.app doesn't work well with Brave. One thing. I'm resetting my Brave to scratch still doesn't work.
All right. So here's the next one, the Halvening one that you submitted. This one's a board Libre, not a producers.
Yep, that one is just happening on the rewards for farming. Doesn't affect anything else. Doesn't affect validator pay. Just we're a little bit behind on getting this one done. So
okay, I'll sign this one too.
Yeah, it'd be good to just push it through. Yeah. We'll cut the farming rewards down, but it's just this needs to be done eventually here.
Cool. Okay, and then I'll put this one in. So it looks like Rio is the only one on the call for this one.
Okay. Yeah,
oh no, Tom, you can sign this too. Then these got removed. Okay, that's it. We don't have any other MSEGs.
Okay, awesome. And now I've been tracking all these MSIGs that matter on the docs page. So can we pull that up really quickly? That docs page that tracks these?
Yeah, give me a second.
Just docs tell these right down here.
There's halvening one for the board. We can sign now, but should we execute this now or?
Yeah, we can. We can. We should have executed it before, but there was something that wasn't ready, I think, on the rewards originally, and so we kind of let it run a little bit longer.
Okay.
All it does is adjust the settings of reward.libre so that the amount per block being sent is half of what it is. So it should always be something like a quarter of what the block rewards are, or half what the block. I can't remember what it says in the documents that we're aligned on, but that's what decides it. And it could be increased later if someone wants to propose it and do it. Like, you know, it can be changed. Just click on April on the left side there. Yeah.
Okay.
System update. Okay, that's what we're doing now. I think the other ones on here are done. So maybe the Denia one didn't get added to this yet, but anyone can make changes to the docs by doing a merge request on GitLab. So there's a GitLab for this that you can edit on. And then
Yeah. This one's done. This one's done. This one's done. This is the one that's pending right now.
yeah, when they're executed, we should just put the executed transactions in here, I think, so that we can go back and find them. But of course, anyone who executes should send the transaction or put it in here. Would be great. Yep.
Okay. I'll try. And
All right.
All right.
So that's good. Very good.
All right. So there's some parking lot items from last week or last month. I don't think we're. Do we have any coverage on any of these?
No, the system update will update the voting power. That's what we're working on. That's not really voting base. Adding more validators on there. Code updates, standby and active. I think we decided to leave that as it is. And if you're a standby, you should be setting a proposal to the DAO to get paid in Libre based on what we agreed on in the governance docs. Yeah, the latest version of the docs are here, so there's something in these docs about how much you're paid. You can just search standby. Standby earned 20% of the average block rewards that would be earned by the active BPs. Could be paid monthly. So if you've been a standby validator, then do a calculation, make a proposal, and we'll get you through.
Where are you? Okay. What section is that in?
I don't know. I just saw it.
Oh, was it up here?
I mean, if you're a standby, this is your job. Part of your job is to go and make a proposal to the DAO. You need 10,000 Libre to make a proposal, but that's very cheap. So just go buy some Libre on the swap and do it.
Okay. I think that's all we had. Any other questions? Any other comments? Anything else from attendees? All right. Well, I will
All right.
give everybody 15 minutes back.
Thanks, everybody.
Very cool.
Okay.
All right.
Very cool.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good
Thanks.
day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.